Hey guys, thank you so much for jumping into this video today. My name is Danny Coldblood, aka Music Vidiot, doing a GTA 5 video with one question. Did somebody say yoga?
Did someone say yoga? Did someone say yoga?
Somebody say yoga?
So some people out there are probably wondering, why am I focusing on yoga? Why is it important? I believe it's a tool, okay? I believe it's a necessary tool in solving at least some aspects of this Chiliad mystery. Whether it's, when we do it right and complete yoga correctly at the right time with all the things set in place, when we do yoga the right way, I believe it's going to at least shed light on something that's going to reveal more or lead us to a step or be part of solving a step. It's going to be used in some aspect to help us with this whole solving of the Chiliad mystery. Now, one reason I can go ahead and say is a visual confirmation that this game gives us while we do yoga. Okay, we're here at Michael's house. Let's start yoga and I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what I mean. Look at the candles. They only appear when you start yoga. They're not just sitting outside by the mat, okay? They only appear when you start yoga. Now, through Michael's perspective, which I believe is the correct perspective to be looking at this, you got blue on left, green in the middle, and red on the right. And look at the sizes of them, okay? If you look at the size of the candles, you'll notice that the sizes of those candles match up with the different sizes of the three main boxes on the bottom of the Chiliad mural. And from left to right of the Chiliad mural, we have the spaceship, we have the egg, and then we have the jetpack. Now, most people have a common agreement with those images relating to the characters. Left, spaceship being Michael, middle, egg being Franklin, and right, jetpack being Trevor. And looking at these candles, they go together with the colors. The candles have blue on left, they have the green in the middle, and they have the red on the right. Now, you guys, attention to detail is definitely a necessity when working on this mystery, because most people might not even notice it or just see the candles and not even pay attention, or it doesn't stick in their head. And for a while that was me. I was overlooking so many things just by feeling like the game is so big and it's got so much stuff in there, and wow, they did a great job, and I never paid attention to all the little small gritty stuff because I just figured this game is massive and it's just more stuff they put in there. But this stuff is not put in there for no reason. There's a reason this stuff is in the game. And yeah, some stuff is there for humor and whatever, everything has its own purpose, but I do believe a lot of clues are, there that require a massive attention to detail to be seen and noticed and being able to ultimately be utilized for us in working on this Chiliad mystery, guys. Really, if you take a look at those candles, okay, I'm telling you, they match up with the boxes on the Chiliad mural, the three boxes, with the spaceship on the left, with the egg in the middle, and the jetpack on the right, blue on left, green in middle, red on right, and then we have these candles, which are sized appropriately to the different minor changes in size to the Chiliad mural with those three boxes. And the color, I mean, guys, really, take a look at those candles and tell me, maybe I'm crazy, okay? But tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments if you think that those three candles are just one more little hint, one more confirmation, letting us know, hey, this is definitely tying to the Chiliad mystery. You know what I mean? And that would be just one more confirmation saying, yes, yoga is important, it's needed, it's necessary, and it is definitely going to help us in some aspect of the Chiliad mystery. Basically, guys, I think yoga is a very, very, very important step here in solving, or, in helping to solve the Chiliad mystery. And I do believe there is something about yoga that we have been doing wrong. And I think it's oversight. I think it's something that we, at least most of us haven't realized or haven't picked up on it. But, I'm sorry if I'm wrong here, but I do believe I found an error in this yoga thing. I think there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it right. And we have not been doing yoga right at all. I really wonder if anybody has ever completely done yoga the right way. Now, we've been given different hints and clues throughout the missions with Fabian and stuff, during our mission. Did somebody say yoga? He's teaching us how to do yoga, and he says things about breathing and stuff. And I'll go ahead and show you guys a clip right now. Notice the filter on the movie he's watching. Is that not one of the filters we get for beating the murder mystery, guys, that I talked about in my last GTA5 video?
Did someone say yoga? Now here is good. We have the sun and the moribunda. The asshole. Now we begin to put the asshole to the earth. Yes, we begin each sequence. Tadasana. Yes. Or mountain pose. Right. Breathing is almost the most important thing, no?
And you notice how he talks about the sun being out, which is, maybe a clue to us, saying, guys, maybe yoga is supposed to be done during daylight hours, or, when the sun is rising or setting. I'm not sure yet. I'm just wondering if that's a clue. But he also says about, the most important part being the breathing. And that's actually what I noticed when I was doing yoga one day, and I realized something about the breathing, and I said, wait a minute. And I looked, and it was almost like, a revelation to me. It was almost like a smack upside the head. And I just realized, oh my God, I don't think I've ever done yoga completely right. And I think this all plays a part in it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. But, basically, the point of this video is going to be telling you that I think yoga is a very important part in solving the mystery. Okay? And I do believe that we have to do it at a certain time with a certain, there has to be prerequisites. So everything has to be in the right order for it to work. And then when we do it, we have to do it perfect. So hopefully I can explain this right. Hopefully you guys get it. And yeah, let's go do some yoga. And before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and drink my green juice. And don't worry, guys. Sound like it burned. Sounds like it burned. I will be going ahead and talking about this green juice coming in a very soon to come video, guys. It's going to be the beginning of my very important videos I'm going to be coming out with. The title Unleashed or Unleashing will be involved in the video's name, so look out for those. We'll be concentrating on each character. Michael will be first, and they are going to be very helpful videos with this mystery. So let's go ahead and go on with the first example here in this whole yoga business, guys. Before we begin, I just want to go ahead and point out something that you all pretty much know, I'm sure, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind, that we have yoga available here at Michael's house, okay, and we have yoga available here at Mount Gordo. Why? Why is it that we only have yoga in 2 spots? You know, why not just 1 spot at Michael's house? Why 2? Why not more than 2? Why at Mount Gordo? Why at Mount Gordo? Okay. In relation to the sun, how important is Mount Gordo? Okay, these are not questions that I want you to answer. I want you to think about them. I don't want to persuade any hunters in any which direction until I know that I'm right on my beliefs. So until I do know I'm right, or I have a good reason to go ahead and believe I'm right, I will make a video at that point. But until that point, I'm just gonna go ahead and insert a couple questions into your minds. Now that we have these locations pointed out and documented, let's go ahead and start our yoga session. I know it's at nighttime, and you know, I do think that yoga has to be done at least some point during daylight hours, but this is just an example, just a test showing you guys the process here and where I think we're going wrong. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start this yoga session. This is what I want to show you. Here's the breathing. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hold the L2 and R2 buttons down a little longer than you're supposed to. And I'm gonna let go. Did you see that color? Look at the color. When I release and the color starts to deflate, you know, the filled in circles start to deflate back to the center. Look at the color that I got. Okay, it was a very light, like, confirmation that I did the step. Watch. See that? Very light. A little light ring came out. I'm gonna go ahead and show you this again. Now watch for it. I'm gonna hold it down longer than, you know, anyone thinks that they would probably need to do that. Now when I let go, look at the very faded ring. See that? That little ring? That, to me, is telling me I did the breathing wrong. Okay? Now, I'm gonna cut it too short. I'm gonna cut my breathing short here. You see that? The same type of ring. Faded out, not really prominent. Let's do it again. Same thing. You see that? Here we are back in the daytime. Gonna try yoga again, and we're gonna try to do it the right time. And I just want to throw in something there, guys. Okay? Whenever I do yoga at night, even if I do it where I feel I'm doing it the right way, it really still shows me as failing it. So I wonder if that light colored you know, little ray that we see going on in that breathing circle, I wonder if that's going to show as failing because of the time of day and or because of the way we're breathing. You know, I'm still not 100% on figuring this out, but I do believe I at least figured out one point of it, and that is the confirmation, the visual confirmation of what it looks like to do it right. And that's what this video is really about, to show us and to show you guys that I think that I really figured out, you know, what it looks like to do the breathing right. And I haven't gotten everything else down, like all the aspects of doing it wrong, but so far I'm gonna have to say doing it wrong will show us that vague little light colored ray going on that I showed you, and it's also wrong to do it at nighttime, which further tells me that my pickup of that clue in the mission, did somebody say yoga, of Fabian saying that the sun is, you know, part of the right situation, I think that that is part of our clue. You know, we have to do it during the daytime, at least some point during sunlight hours. And the game tells us that by showing us that visual fail ring during our breathing. So 2 things we know: we have to get our breathing right, and we have to do it during daylight hours. Let's go ahead and see if I could show you guys what I'm talking about with the visual confirmation of doing it right. Boom. Did you guys see that? Okay, that felt like I did it right. It looked like I did it right, and then I got the confirmation of that dark colored ring. Boom! Did you guys see that? So my theory here, I believe I can go ahead and say I'm confident on being accurate with my theory so far. Boom! We got that dark colored ring, guys, showing that we did the yoga just right. And what I'm doing is I'm letting the breathing circle. What, am I not right? Okay. I'm letting the breathing circle just touch that outer edge. Like, right now, let go. Bam, got it right. You see that? What I'm doing is I'm letting it fill up just to the edge of the circle, and as soon as it touches, I let go right away. Bam. Anytime I alter that, if I hold it down too long, a little bit longer, or a little bit less than just then, you know, just at that point, I get a different colored ring, and it shows me, you know, what I believe to be failing. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to get every single breath accurate here. It's actually quite hard because I'm not sure if the rhythm or something changes here during the whole session, but as I do my yoga, at times it feels like it's harder to complete. It's not as easy as just touching the outer ring. I don't know what's going on, but see how it's a little bit light colored there? A little bit lighter? I think I did something wrong there. Either I did something wrong or the formula of how to do it right is altered throughout the session. Bam, now that was a good one. You see how dark that ring was and kind of gave that confirmation at the very end that like blinked just perfect? I hope you guys understand and follow what I'm saying here. I don't want to sound like a crazy man. Bam, perfect breath. That was perfect. Perfect breath. That one breath though I had, man, a couple breaths ago, I don't think was right. So, this is one failed yoga session. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. I don't think that we've been doing yoga right the whole time. I think that we've been doing it wrong. That was a perfect breath, in my opinion. Perfect breath. And I want to go ahead and say one more thing here at the end of yoga here. Look at this. Watch when he goes to extend his arms out. I think that if we have everything in the right sequence, everything's in place, when he does that, I think his arms aren't going to just fall down like they just did. I think that when he raises his arms out like that, I believe they'll stay out like he's praising the sun. And I believe something's going to happen there. A visual change is going to happen there, and we're going to see that we did it right. When all the steps are in place and we did yoga perfect, I believe his arms will extend out, but they're not going to just, you know, flail down and float down in like disappointment or disapproval. I believe they'll stay up and they'll actually praise the sun. Now that's just my own opinion, but guys, I really do feel like I'm right on this. I've been fucking around and testing out different yoga theories, and I've done it for a long time, probably in so much excess that I've probably done it more than a lot of people, a lot of hunters. Spent hours and days on yoga, and I'm telling you, I don't think we're doing it right. I don't think anyone's ever really done it right. I think there's a lot of combinations of things. Like I said, I think that we have to have everything in place, whether it's karma, whether it's, you know, different completion of your game file, whatever it is. I think everything has to be in order, together, in sequence, and then we have to do yoga at the right time, do it right while we're doing the yoga, do all the breathing and everything right, and then, bam, a trigger will happen or something, and that's going to be part of solving this mystery at some point. You know, it's going to be some part of this mystery. I can guarantee it, guys. So, before we progress, we got one more spot to go to, which is Mount Gordo. Before we go ahead, I just want to go ahead and state my theory here is that you do yoga at nighttime, you're going to constantly, even if you do the breathing right, if you do it at nighttime, it's going to visually show you that you're doing it wrong. It's going to give you that light colored ring or that light colored fade. So that tells us yoga has to be done during daylight hours. Not sure when during the day, but at least during the day it can show us that we're doing it right. And then number 2, when we do yoga, we have to do it accurate. The breaths have to be done correctly. There's going to be more involved in yoga, guys. A couple more things. I just don't want to overwhelm you or confuse you or add too much to this video. So I'll be bringing up my yoga stuff that I feel, reflects the mystery directly, the Chiliad mystery directly, in an upcoming Unleashed Michael or Unleashing Michael video. Stay tuned for that, like I said before. And let's go to Mount Gordo. I'll see you guys there in a second. Okay, we are back. We are at Mount Gordo. And let's try doing yoga. Oh shit. That could have been bad. What better way to center ourselves than to murder some animals first? And that also brings to mind, doing yoga on top of this mountain where there's predators. Why'd they pick here, guys? Why did they pick here? Remember what Fabian said. Not only did he say something about the sun, but he also said to start off in the mountain pose. Could that also be a hint at maybe yoga being important to be performed right here on Mount Gordo? Look what building is right there in your view as soon as you end yoga, okay? And it just so happens that this building, is affiliated with Michael. Epsilonism is the cult. The whole Epsilon cult and Epsilonism is what Michael's involved with. So I think it's kind of funny that it's located right there. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a quick connection with Epsilon, showing us that maybe we are supposed to be in this cult, and maybe that we are supposed to not steal the money at the end of it, so we can go ahead and collect the tracks. Because if you, at the last Epsilon side mission, if you choose to steal the money, that's the end of Epsilon missions or side missions for you. That's the end of it. But if you choose to give the money over and, not piss them off, they reward you with a tractor that says Kiflam 01 on it. And there it is right there. And Wispy Woods made a connection to me one time. He's like, maybe it means tractor beam. So you never know. I'm saving it for a rainy day. Maybe it's going to be useful. I'm not sure. But not only do they reward you with that, but you also can do these Epsilon tracks where Marnie gives you text messages and she gives you hints. These are all of them right here, and she gives you hints on all the different tracks to go find. These are the clues of where they are. Then you go find them. So these are only available, if you don't piss off the Epsilon. Now I'm thinking that we shouldn't piss off the Epsilon. Maybe we should go ahead and do everything right by them and do the tracks afterwards, because the connection I'm going to show you is a direct connection, I believe, from Epsilonism to yoga, or yoga to Epsilonism. And that might make more sense why Michael is the only one that's able to do yoga, and one of the two places that we can do yoga, um, when you finish doing it in Michael's yard, he tries to praise his son, and he faces the Epsilon building itself. So let me go ahead and show you the other location here that I want to show you. This is the only other location that I knew of up until a couple days ago that had a stand or a place for Epsilon program. I always just thought the Epsilon program was located at the Epsilon building right by Michael's house that we just looked at. But there is this location right here. It's just like a little beach, storefront kind of deal here. And it's got like the book. It's kind of just like marketing them, showing people that might not know, that might want to see or hear about Epsilonism. So, here's this little storefront, if you will. Little kind of flea market stand, if you will. And, up until recently, this was the only other place that I knew of that had any sort of, affiliation with Epsilon. Now, let me show you one more location, the last location, the only other place that I found an Epsilon building, and this is the place that I think directly links to yoga. Okay, here we are at the last location that I know of where they have an Epsilon place set up. The main building, and then the place on the beach, and then right here. And I just stumbled across this completely by accident about a week ago. And it's Flicker's Comics. We have Flicker's Comics right here. And as I was looking, at the different comics and stuff, I noticed above it says Epsilon Society Vinewood. And I didn't understand why it said that. I'm like, what do you mean Epsilon Society Vinewood? It's a comic book store. But if you look on the right side of the comic book store, you have the Epsilon symbol kind of hidden under this awning here.
Moron.
Wow. You're gonna call me a moron? Really? Well, anyway, you look at this thing here, and it's got different images, associated with Epsilonism that I can't really say I remember seeing or ever seeing. I don't really ever remember seeing any of this stuff, but if you look at it, you see different triangles, but you see the eye, and you see a guy meditating or whatnot. Whoa, I thought I was in the camera and I was in first person. Okay, so you see a guy sitting there meditating inside of the eye. All right, you got the Epsilon symbol with the sun in the background of it, and look at the shape that it's in. It's in like a keyhole shape. Do you see that? That kind of speaks to me. It kind of tells me Epsilon is the key, because you know what I mean? There's a keyhole that's outlining the whole Epsilon with the sun, and what's inside of the keyhole? The Epsilon symbol, which means, Epsilon is key. Keys go in the keyhole, and since we have the Epsilon symbol inside the keyhole, I don't think I have to emphasize it anymore. I think you get the point. But anyway, we also have, these posters: self, actualization, believe, breathe. Breathe, that's part of the whole yoga. You gotta breathe. That's a big part of it. Also, I want to let you guys know, not only when we do those breathing things, how I told you to look for those rings, also pay attention to the breathing. Listen to the breathing that he actually does while you're doing the yoga. That might be part of it also, letting you know when to let go or hold in longer or whatever, according to his breathing. I think we can get to the bottom of it, but to further explain these here, it says share, relax, listen, think. What else does it say? Actualization, and listen, fear. It also says learn, hate, love. Now, one thing I want to say is the hate and the love that we have in the bottom here, that is associated a lot with Trevor. There's, hate and love both together like that. I definitely, see that being with Trevor. There's different places where Trevor is involved with that has hate and love like that. Now, the actualization, I think you guys already know what that is. That's Children of the Mountain. So this is really shocking to me to see all these different things intertwined here, ultimately being associated with Epsilonism. This is the first time I see any sort of meditation or yoga-inspired events being tied to Epsilonism, along with Children of the Mountain and along with Trevor. So there's more to this than we know, guys. There really is. And this simple door right here, it says Epsilon Society, Vinewood, a big header up there. There's a big header. It's kind of hidden by this tree. The tree is in front of it. And but that doesn't take away that there's a big sign up there, and it's such a big sign for such a little door. The whole store is basically a comic book store. Everything on it's all comics, and then you have this little side entrance here for the Epsilon. So I'm really interested to eventually get inside there and see what that's all about. I don't think we ever can get in there, but I think this is something to learn. We're supposed to learn from this. And yeah, so that right there is definitely, in my mind, connecting Epsilonism, at least for what we're talking about today, to yoga. And that might be just a little hint telling us, guys, maybe we are supposed to be true to the Epsilon while we're doing our missions with them. Get the tractor, do the tracks at the end. Maybe the whole yoga and everything does eventually play a part with being good in the Epsilon, having a good standing with the Epsilon program. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching this. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I'll talk to you guys on the flip side. Have a great day. And as always, guys, take care and peace.
Breathing is almost the most important thing, no?